Hello, how's it going? I'm Only Coronet, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to build a simple yet effective custom oak tree. Now, building custom trees, especially if you're trying to make a forest, can take a lot of time and effort to try and get it right and look good. So today I'll run through some basic tips and the build processes I take when I'm making this tree, and hopefully it will make building custom trees easier for you in the future. Now, even though today's video is just focusing on an oak tree design, the approach I take can also be used when building other tree types and designs. As you can see, this is a design that I built earlier. Now, I've tried to give this tree some character and make it stand out from the default Minecraft oak tree by curving and adding interest to the trunk, and by also adding leaves that droop down, as we can see here. The materials I'll be using to make this tree are oak wood, not logs, so then the texture is consistent all the way around the block. I'll also be using spruce stairs, slabs, fences and a fence gates, and I'll also be using oak leaves and azalea leaves. Now, to start, I'm going to build the trunk of the tree. I'm not going to be building a straight trunk today. I'm going to be curving it a little bit to try and get a sense that it's a twisted, gnarled trunk, which helps to add more interest to the tree. Of course, you don't have to build a trunk like this, and it can be whatever shape you want it to be. Maybe you want it to lean over a path, for example, or you want a really tall, slim trunk. Again, it's entirely up to you. Now, when building this, I'm making the base a bit thicker to get that sense of support and that the tree is firmly rooted to the ground. So once you're happy with the shape and how tall you want the tree to be, the next stage is to start work on the branches. So when I'm doing the branches, ideally what I want is for at least one branch to kind of go in each compass direction. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using the oak wood to create the branches. So I think I'm going to do one here, and I don't want to make them flat, so I'm going to make this one rise up a little bit like that. Then to make this top part of the trunk even more interesting, if I put a slab here and slab here, I can actually again bend the trunk slightly to add a little bit more interest and to make the shape more interesting and natural as well. So add another part of the trunk there, and then if I can add a branch going here, like so. Again, it's not flat, and then maybe both sides here. Have this one go. You have them different lengths as well. You've got to make sure that they're kind of long enough that it doesn't feel too compressed and condensed at the top, because otherwise it will feel a bit too bottom heavy and then it won't look so good. Then maybe one like that, and then a bit more height there. Then add more height here. So we've got something like this, and then if I go back and just add some side branches a little bit, like here, or like that maybe. Yep. And then one there. So once you've got your kind of basic structure of the branches, then you can come in with some fences to add some thinner branches, add that extra bit of detail, and you can also use gates as well to just vary it up a little bit, like this. So come round, put one there, put some at the end, each end of the branches, like this. Maybe one down here, like that. So just keep doing this until you're happy with your design, which I think that should be enough, like so. Maybe one there. There you go. So now we have the overall skeleton of the tree. And again, that is pretty simple to do if you follow the rules of one branch on each side, in each 4 sides, and then you can go back, add some little side branches, and then add some details with the fences and gates. Now next we're going to start to add the leaves. So to start, I'm just going to cover the main branches with the leaves. Now when I do this, I'm going to try and leave some gaps in between so you can actually see the branches. I'm not just going to religiously cover all the branches completely. I'm going to leave some gaps, like so. Just concentrate on the top bit, top and sides at first, and we'll do the bottom in a minute. So as you can see, I've gone around and I've covered the top and sides of the main branches with the oak leaves. So you can see it's still nowhere near finished because there's still lots of leaves we need to add. So once you've done this, we can then start to work on the gaps in between the branches and slowly filling them in with some more leaves. And when you're doing this, try not to just completely fill the space with leaves. Try and leave some gaps like here where you can see the sky from below. So as you can see, we've got some more leaves building up the space now. So it looks a much thicker canopy. So now we can actually come back with some azalea leaves to kind of touch up the top parts. So I'm going to try and work in a gradient where there's more azalea at the top, and then I'm basically going to leave the bottom without azalea to get that extra bit of colour and texture in. Just varies it up a little bit, adds more interest, makes it look more natural as well. So just around the top parts of the branches here and there. Maybe swap out some of the oak leaves, add a little bit more, add some layers. So once you're happy with the top part of the tree canopy, with the shape, we're going to then start working on the underside. We're going to start covering some of these branches, again trying to leave some gaps in between so you can still make sure that they're visible. Like so. Some of these sides. And I'm also going to cover the upper section of the trunk as well, just a little bit. Like this. So once you've done that, we can then add some drooping leaves from the underside as well. So maybe here, just bring this down here, and then bring this down a bit. Come around here. And also try and just, if there's any kind of straight edges or flat areas, just try and add some extra blocks to roughen them up a little bit. Like so. Maybe want to bring this down a bit more. And then maybe one around here as well. Oops. Like that. And then the next stage is just finishing touches. If you're not quite happy, just go back and add some more leaves or take some leaves here and there until you're happy with the shape of the build. And there you have it. That's pretty much finished. So I come down here, if I look up I can still see it's not completely thick. There's some areas where you can still see the sky because it's only 1 or 2 layers, or in that case there, no layers. So that's what you want. You can still see some of the undersides of the branches. They're not completely covered. And we've got these drooping leaves as well. Got an interesting shape, an organic shape with the trunk and the branches. And this method can be replicated if you're doing lots of trees. So start with the trunk, get the thick base, maybe make it interesting with the arches, make it curve slightly, and then do the branches, making sure there's 4 branches, 1 on each side, but they can vary in length and shape and structure. And then add your little bit of details with the fences and the gates, and then you come in with the leaves, starting with the sides and the top, making sure to leave some gaps in between so you can see the sky, and then work on the underside, and then add some drooping leaves if you want to at the end. Well, I hope you have found this video useful when approaching tree building, and I hope it has made the process easier. Don't forget, this is just one way to build trees, and there are many more designs out there. If you did enjoy this video, please consider leaving a like, as it greatly helps out the channel. Also consider subscribing if you want to see more tutorials and videos like this. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye!